Hey everyone, it's your buddy Sven here, once again coming at you with another Warframe video. So again, like usual, I'm just covering the text here because I don't have the means to do this in game yet. But I'm covering the Natah questline. I got a request from this from one of my subs. He pointed out, okay, so the Natah quest is finally in game because it didn't come originally with update 17. Could you please do a video on it? So I'm deciding to do a video on this. So this is an optional quest that involves the mystery behind a strange drone that pops up nowadays, and it also helps tip us off to the identity of who the Lotus might be. This is a doozy of a quest line. This is probably the best quest that DE has put into Warframe, and I'm excited to cover it. But it being a doozy, I should probably get on with actually, talking about it and discussing it. So in order to do this, you have to have a mastery rank 3 or higher, and you have to have some codec scanners with you. Now, this is pretty easy. I know not a lot of people necessarily carry codec scanners, but this is worth it. Trust me, this is so cool. So these mystery drones will pop in and out when you're mastery rank 3 or higher. They're these little blue drones, oculists. So they look like this. They're pretty neato. I actually really like the appearance of them. But they only spawn if you're mastery rank 3 or higher, and then you scan them, and then they'll kind of sit there for a second, and then they'll float away. They're kind of skittish a little bit. But they scan things around these maps, and they look very interested in things, almost a little Cephalon Suda-ish, or, whatnot. So anywho, these guys are kind of important, and scanning an Oculus for the first time triggers the Natah quest. So when you trigger the Natah quest, the Lotus is like, okay, so what are these guys interested in, basically? They send you to, Lotus sends you to Gaia, which is on Earth, with the task of scanning more of the drones, and you initially have to track them down, and you have to fend off against Grenier, but it's Gaia on Earth, and frankly, you should be pretty okay there. Odds are they won't necessarily put up much of a fight against you. So you have to scan them, and then eventually you get directed to what they want to scan, which is this large wreckage hanging off a cliff. Now, Lotus mentions that it's just old war wreckage. Why are the Corpus suddenly interested in it? Because the Lotus thinks that the Oculus are Corpus, because we don't necessarily know what they are at this point, but the Corpus, them being all techie and whatnot, can kind of assume. You also kind of assume the worst, so you'd think Corpus. Upon scanning the first drone, what did you see? My data stream went dark. Scanning the last drone. Good, I'm putting the last drone together. It's an Oculus. That means Tenno, stay safe. And then basically she abandons you. So this kind of puts a weird thing, because the Lotus is very used to sticking with us even when things don't necessarily look good. Now suddenly we scan this weird blue thing and she leaves. She just flat out ditches us. Now, after the Lotus abandons the player, leads Ortis to say the following: "Hello, did the Lotus just abandon the operator? Get cut off." We can assume that's Ortis's little polarity switch where he kind of is bipolar a little bit. The abandon the operator was probably in his little murder voice. I have extraction ready. I think you should hurry. So now we have to go help Teshin. Teshin, for those of you who don't know, is the runner of the Conclave. Very interesting fellow. I don't Conclave much, but I like the character. So people, the spring has ended. The Lotus Blossom has snapped shut, her true nature revealed. Now we shall see if codependence can be broken. Let us begin to unravel her long-hidden truth. So, those of you who don't know, the Lotus is pretty mysterious, honestly. She helps us, but we don't know much about her. And I think she likes it that way. So, this questline is really cool in the fact that we get to learn more. The next mission takes players to a Grenier Galleon and Miranda Uranus for a mobile defense mission where we must defend 3 consoles. At the start of the mission, Tension mentions his thoughts on the nature of the drones. The ghost you saw is of a menace long thought dead. They study us, study our enemies, let us sharpen our knowledge of them. Are these ghosts mere echoes of the past, or are they more sinister harbingers calling for an old beast to awake? Now, I already read through what this quest entails, because I wanted to get, some logical reasoning power behind it for you guys. So we actually learn what this old beast is later on. Upon finding the first console, this is all just dialogue that you guys will see in there. I want to basically keep this short, sweet, into the quest line. So approaching the console. Now, upon beginning this part of the mission, after the last console, you get an Ortis inbox transmission, which is an intercepted message from Tile Regger. So we know Tile Regger and the Grenier are also involved in this. This is starting to become something a little bit more complex, because we thought these Oculists were Corpus. Now they might be some unknown faction to us, where they're just some old thing, possibly dating back to the Old War and the Orokin. Now, Tile Regger basically sends this message to one of his sergeants where he's saying, oh, I found this tomb, so there might be something inside, so I'm going to go ahead and find it. But then he basically mocks the intelligence of his fellow Grineer, where he just does this all caps, send Draga, which are basically reinforcements, kill Tenno, help brothers. So he does this whole long-winded thing, and then he just basically sums it up in 6 all capital words. Because Tile Regger's a snarky asshole, but we all love him. Find the sergeant. So Sergeant Skur is basically a Drac master with a Gargata, and you're on a capture mission to get him. Lotus magically comes back, saying basically you don't have the authority to mess with the Tenno, you're endangering them. Teshin's basically like, well, what's making you come back? So why are you here now? Are you afraid of what we're going to find? Lotus is like, I had to cover my tracks. You're leading them into an even greater danger. Beast soon stirs Lotus, revealing much. It'll awaken, become whole again. Lotus mentions the sentient. The sentient is what this beast is. Now, this could necessarily lead to another quest, which would be very interesting to see if the sentient comes into play more. You know this one, don't you? So now we have to go apprehend Tile Regger. Or no, we have to apprehend Skur in this mission. So we get Skur, we extract, the pieces are set, it's your move, Lotus. Tile Regger must be stopped from entering the tomb. I have to risk exposure to stop him. Go. Lotus has never had to risk exposure. This is a big deal, honestly. So survival mission on Uranus. You have to last 10 minutes against Grineer units. Get to the waypoint. Tile Regger's basically commenting, stay out of my business. I don't know why you're here. Just stop dabbling. It cuts off life support as per usual in survival. The sentient, the destroyer, the liberator, depends who you ask what this thing... But this thing is certain. I will have its secrets. Funny, isn't it, Tenno? I'm cracking open the sentient's tomb and also sealing yours at the same time. Not laughing? I don't know. I think it's funny. I love Tile Regger. It's not Tomb Regger. It's a cage. If you open it, is that Teshin, the pseudo-Tenno lives, still drunk on your own honor? Shocked it hasn't robbed you through yet. So basically, there's an exchange between Tile Regger and Teshin. Now we have an unknown voice here. This unknown voice is the sentient voice. This is actually cause for concern. So all of you retreat now. Natah, who are you? So Natah, where are you? This is the unknown voice. You cannot hide from me. Natah, who have you become? Does this form remind you of what you once were? Time has carried my seed so very far from the branch. So Lotus wants you out of there now. Pupil, what is your Lotus hiding? Who is Natah? My name, my old name. It is not who I am now. We need to focus on now, not history. We need to seal the tomb. A blast capable. The sentient is awake, Natah. It will not be contained long. Do not call me that. Containment will buy us time. Go now, Tenno. I will explain more when you reach the site. So Lotus's old name was Natah. Now this is very, very interesting because this gives us insight onto who the Lotus was, and evidently Lotus may be a darker figure than we thought she was, because evidently she's related to this thing that clearly bad things will happen if it gets out. Now we have to go seal the tomb. Focus blast can release the magma flows beneath and rebury the tomb, protect the bomb during its lengthy arming process, destroy this tomb, destroy our history. Vandals! Lions, those who pilfer meat from lions are either foolish or starving. Which are you, Regger? Natah, why did you betray me? Why did you not finish the sequence you started? Why did you stop at the last? What is it talking about? So there's a sequence that Lotus, formerly Natah, was doing, but didn't quite complete. Stopped at the last step. Now, I'll go ahead and go down here. You betrayed us. As I awake, so will they. They will listen to your riven. They will say you're riven and want to reclaim you. I will not be able to stop them. So this might go ahead and unleash these whole floodgates we don't necessarily want to deal with. This is interesting. So it appears that the unknown silhouette is a parental figure to Lotus. The word womb can be metaphorical or literal, leaving interpretation regarding the gender or sex of the unknown figure. It does have an incredibly masculine voice, but it takes the form of a scorched lotus, merely its own choice, just to give the Lotus a sense of familiarity. Natah, Lotus, you cannot hide your past any longer. There are gaps. I had my mission and I completed it, all but the last sequence. The last sequence would be to destroy the Tenno. The war was over, so I hid them away in the second dream. I could not destroy them. And yet you were born to, so tell me, what made you stop to reject your nature? So Lotus went away from her nature, away from what she was told to do to save the Tenno. That's the only reason we're all alive in this game. All missions to the origin system required a sacrifice. Me and my kind became barren when crossing the gap. It is the one flaw we never overcame. So she didn't have the ability to create children. Nada wanted children of her own. Nada was the daughter until I destroyed her. Now I'm the Lotus, now I'm the mother. So we can reason that the reason that Lotus saved the Tenno, or Nada saved the Tenno, was because she wanted to be a mom in a sense, a mother. So the Tenno are all her children, in a sense. Tenno, you steal my tomb, you murder my tomb men. The reason I say that is because of the old tile two men a rigger event. Not acceptable behavior. Our differences need to be settled. So you know where I am. Come get me. Just try. Tenno, you know where Tile Regger is. When you're ready, destroy him. So that's the Nada quest line. This is a hell of a doozy because we learned so much over the course of this quest line. We learned that Lotus's old name was Nada. Nada saved the Tenno simply to, in a sense, be a mother and to just reject this whole thing. So she betrayed her own people in order to save the Tenno. We're pretty damn thankful to the Lotus because she's the entire reason we're alive. Anywho, that sums up the Nada quest. Finishing it gives you an Exilus adapter, which allows you to use the utility mods. Otherwise, you'd have to craft it through some quite costly materials, or 20 platinum in the shop. Take your pick. But anywho, please leave a like if you like what you heard in this video. Please consider hitting that big red button down below. Subscribe to me. You'll see the moment my videos come out, which is pretty exciting. I like definitely knowing when my stuff comes out and when people I like, when their stuff comes out. I like to watch that pretty quick. So anywho, this has been Sven. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.